cheer. My name is Sherry Jones. I'm a graduate of Michigan State University, 1987. But it is truly my distinct honor and pleasure to serve as your Mistress of Ceremonies tonight on this wonderful evening. It's really fun to be able to get dressed up and have a time to celebrate such fantastic people. Just turn to the person to your right or left and just tell them how great they look tonight, in case you haven't done that already. All right. Wonderful. Thank you for obliging me in that. I'm very delighted to be here. I did a quick change after the 6 o'clock news, so that's always fun. And I'm going to hope that I leave you tonight very inspired by what you're going to hear, the stories of our 11 Alumni Grand Award recipients who really represent the very best of Michigan State University. At this time, I would like to introduce to you Mr. Bob Thomas. Bob joined University Development at Michigan State in 1998 as the Director of Marketing and Communications. He previously spent 12 years at General Motors, where he held a variety of positions, including advertising manager for our beloved brand Oldsmobile. For the past 14 years, Bob has served as the member of the University Development and now the University Advancement Executive Leadership Team. In his current role as Assistant Vice President for Advancement, Marketing, and Communications, he manages a team of 47 and has direct supervision of all aspects of communication and marketing. Bob has also recently been appointed as the Interim Executive Director of the MSU Alumni Association. Bob has earned 2 degrees from Michigan State University, a bachelor's degree, and an MBA. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Bob Thomas.
Thank you, Sherry. I'm delighted to hear 84 and 86 for me, so not too far off. I am delighted to be up here representing Michigan State University and the Alumni Association this evening. These awards are really one of the most special nights for us as alumni, where we get to come back together and celebrate what really it makes us special, and is that as our alumni. And just being able to welcome 11 new members into this unique and very distinct group of alumni is something that I've been looking forward to for the last 6 months, quite frankly. It's a fantastic night. I've been sitting in the back for the last 7 or 8 years, and now I get to be up here and see it from a whole different perspective, and it's wonderful. Selecting folks for these awards is challenging, and it's gotten more challenging each and every year. We get a phenomenal list of potential recipients each and every year, and paring that down to a group of 10, 11, 12 each year is no small task. So if you are one of the recipients this evening, know that you are part of a very elite group of alumni. There are 5 categories that we're going to be recognizing this evening. There's an honorary alumni award, there's a young alumni award, there's an alumni service award, there's a philanthropist award, and then there's the distinguished alumni award. But before we get started, I'd like to take a minute and recognize some of our guests here this evening. First and foremost, and we'll be hearing from him later this evening, is our interim president, John Engler. Thank you, John, for being here. Then we have 3 members of our executive leadership team. Our June Hewitt, who's our provost and executive vice president for academic affairs, right here. Satish Udpa, executive vice president for administrative services. I hadn't seen it. There he is back there. And then Kathy Wilbur, executive vice president for government and external relations. Do I see her this evening? Nope. Not sure if I see her. And then finally, my boss, a longtime Spartan who left for a while but then came back to serve as the Vice President for University Advancement. Marty Heil is here. Then I'd also like to ask, we have several of our deans in the room this evening. If you are a dean of one of our colleges, would you please stand and be acknowledged? These awards really are university awards, and the deans play an important role in helping us find the right folks who are worthy of this honor. We have been awarding alumni awards since 1946, but there are fewer than 600 people who have received an Alumni Grand Award. Among those recipients are 3 former governors, 29 people whose name adorns a building here on campus, CEOs of countless Fortune 500 companies, and even 2 Olympic gold medalists. Earlier today, many of these previous recipients were recognized at a ceremony where they received or wore their Alumni Grand Award medallion. And tonight, I believe we have almost 20 of them with us this evening. So if you are a winner of a previous year's Distinguished Alumni Award, would you please stand and be recognized? We are so thankful that they are here to join us this evening, and they are here in part to welcome our newest members to this very unique and exclusive club. Today we also recognize the Mid-Michigan Quality and Undergraduate Teaching Award winners, Dr. Ryan Black and Dr. Melanie Cooper. This award celebrates those who take pride in and are committed to quality undergraduate teaching, and who demonstrates substantial continuing improvement in undergraduate education. These 2 distinguished faculty members represent some of the best teaching talent in the nation, and we are so honored to have them here at Michigan State. If Dr. Black and Dr. Cooper could please stand so we could give them a round of applause as well. We also have a few individuals who have been recognized as College and Alumni Club Award recipients, and I'd like to ask the following individuals who are in attendance to stand this evening. Amy Argel, College of Social Science Humanitarian Award. Curtis Dunkel, College of Veterinary Medicine Distinguished Veterinary Alumni Award. Peter Lucito, who just had to leave, he's dealing with a member who's ill in the family. He was a College of Law Distinguished Alumni Award winner. Lawrence Stone, College of Communication Arts and Science Outstanding Alumni. Again, as I said, tonight we are honored and privileged to have 11 new folks join this very elite group of Spartans. Their stories are different, but what they all share in common is a love for Michigan State and the ideals that are inherent in our mission here. I congratulate them in advance this evening and the recipients on their accomplishments, and we look forward to seeing you all at future events like this today. And I'm so excited to be able to present you with your medallions this evening. Sherry?
Thank you, Bob. The first award being given tonight is our Young Alumni Award, which is given to alumni under the age of 40 who have distinguished themselves through a high level of professional accomplishment earlier in their careers. These individuals demonstrate a commitment to Michigan State University through outstanding volunteer service on behalf of the university and/or participation and leadership in meritorious public service on a local, state, national, or international level. Let's meet the recipients of the 2018 Young Alumni Award.
Linking great artists to great need. My experience at MSU, it exposed me to a lot of different cultures, and I think it prepared me to be comfortable and putting myself out there in a completely different environment, a new world. Specifically, I can remember a great class, early childhood music class by Cynthia Taggart, and I learned so many great techniques, so many ways to teach and reach different ages and different communities that I have used those today in India and Nepal. So I lived in Calcutta for 3.5 years, and I saw millions of people that were extremely poor, millions of women and children living in extreme poverty. And I thought, what can I do? Using my skill set as a musician, what can I do to give back and improve their way of life, or at least attempt to make a difference. I know Western classical music, so I chose to do that. It was in Uttamanch, which is a theater, a proper theater in Kalighat, a slum, and it borders a red light district. And we provided, I believe it was, TB testing, health checkups, but the kids, again, I knew where they were coming from, and they were rolling in the aisles, dancing, waving their hands, and our goal was to heal mind, body, and soul through music. So that is one of the concerts that we put on with that goal in mind. This is their first time ever in a theater, and I can see them, they have hope in their eyes, and they're really thriving and inspired. I'm just so glad that we can uplift their spirits and show them a bigger world out there and show them that people really care about them, showing my friends, my colleagues, my musicians a new world as well, exposing them to a world outside of, say, Grand Rapids, Michigan, or Cleveland, Ohio. And they're exposed to all these great cultures, and you know, it's just a win-win experience for both sides. Spartans will persevere.
Ladies and gentlemen, Young Alumni Award recipient, Jennifer Heemstra, class of 2000.
Test, is this good? Everyone hear me? Thank you, wow. Thank you so much to MSU, the Alumni Grand Award Committee. Thank you for choosing me. This is incredible, and I should say thank you for putting me first so I can kind of get this out of the way and enjoy the rest of the night. I would definitely specifically like to thank Christine Beamer for nominating me, for Dean Forger and Deborah Moriarty in the front, for Carrie Pierce and Isha Daga for sending letters of support. I'm extremely honored to receive the 2018 Young Alumni Award. I know I did just make the cut. Creating 2 nonprofits was not an easy task, and of course required many volunteers who are passionate about our mission. And I have to thank my team in Calcutta, India, Kunal Roy Chowdhury, Sam and Kush Medora, Tubby and Virag Desai, Veda Agarwal, and of course Lata Bajoria. I'm sure there were many, many, many times where they thought this Westerner is just crazy, but they put up with me. On the US side, I must thank the the Veterans Affairs Administration and the Voluntary Services for working with us to put on concerts for veterans as well. And I absolutely have to acknowledge my incredibly talented colleagues and musicians. I know they may be accustomed to gilded concert halls and venues like this with chandeliers and a posh setting, but they absolutely jumped at the opportunity to come to perform with me and to use music to uplift and inspire and work with women and children in venues that we would never really thought of, to red light districts, to hospitals, to the World War II monument on the Mall in Washington, D.C. So they braved sticky weather to be with me in India, and maybe even some intruding water buffalo, as you saw in the picture, I think, from red light districts. So it's just an amazing, it's amazing to know that my friends and colleagues would do that for the larger mission as well. I would not sleep well at night if I actually did not list them all. So I was hoping the pianist would be there, because I need a drum roll, please. We have on vocals Susan Williams, Marla Berg, Chelsea Coyne. On piano, Douglas Jers, Shanda Vanderhart, my fellow Spartans, Deborah Moriarty and Catherine Brown. On cello, Brian Thornton, Amir Eldon, fellow Spartan Carrie Pierce. On viola, Kirsten Doctor, and also Spartan Joelle Pagan. And on violin, Wendy Case and Urjean Kong. Jim Forger was on sax, Cindy Watson on oboe, George Pope on flute, my 2 interns, Mac Wynn and Julia Schultz, also Sandeep Vyas providing a little Bollywood beat, and Bikram Ghosh for tangoing with the tabla. Most importantly, thank you, of course, to the women and children that were so kind enough and welcomed us into their homes, into their communities, when they didn't have to trust us. And thank you, MSU, also for sharing in our vision, for encouraging people to be globally minded and build bridges. And I'm not sure, some people at my table know, but I'd like to dedicate this to my grandpa. He was a dairy farmer, and he sang in public for over 80 years of his life, and he just passed away at 102 years old. And his patience, wisdom, and the ability to connect through different communities and people through music will never be forgotten. Thank you very much.
I bleed green and white because MSU really was the best time of my life. MSU helped me to grow into the person that I am. It gave me a sense of responsibility for my community. It gave me a realization of what possibilities were out there, what I could accomplish, and it gave me a roadmap of how to get there. Public health is something that I'm extremely passionate about. I'm very interested in the intersection of healthcare and public health, and how we can really look at community and best prepare people to lead their healthiest lives possible. If I was looking back over my career and giving advice to a younger Spartan, I would tell them to take the limits off. You can be anything you desire to be, and your Michigan State degree is giving you an awesome platform from which to launch. I have been very interested in sexually transmitted infections for a number of years. When I was in high school, they released a statistic that said that African American women were more likely to get sexually transmitted infections than other women, and I sought out on my mission to change that statistic. It was through the Lane Pre-Medical Society, one of the many programs that MSU offered me as an undergraduate student, that I was able to be introduced to the discipline of epidemiology, and that completely changed my career trajectory. I will be forever indebted to my time at MSU. Spartans will be exemplary in their service to mankind, in their service to their communities, in their service to their families, and even in service to everyday people. See, that's one of the things I love about being a Spartan. We are just regular people working to live our best lives, to live out that mantra that we will be the change that we wish to see in the world. Spartans will change the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, Young Alumni Award recipient, Shannon Wilson, class of 2002.
Wow. So tonight is a bit surreal, and I'll start by saying that God definitely has a sense of humor, because I've been waiting all month to give this speech, and I have no voice. This award represents the greatest aspect of our university to me, its people. I am honored that the content of my character and that my actions have deemed me worthy to receive this award from you. I believe that I was placed on this earth to help others achieve their best selves. And that is never possible if you're not healthy. I've worked over my career to amass a body of work that I'm very proud of. I've been to Africa to work on the AIDS pandemic. I've been to TED-Med as a TED-Med scholar 3 times. I've designed interventions that have saved lives, and the latest disruption that we're doing right now in West Michigan will completely change the trajectory of healthcare professionals for decades to come. Couple that with the boards I sit on and the communities that I serve, I feel like I'm doing my fair share to make sure that we're leaving a legacy and an impact on the Spartan spirit. But as a Spartan, I do none of this for the praise or the accolades, but rather the smile I see when someone gets healthcare for the first time, or when a person realizes how to actually manage their diabetes and live a healthy and productive life. You see, it's those everyday moments that really change who I am and why I do this work. I still believe that the greatest assets that we have are the people themselves. We sell ourselves short when we underestimate the power of dreams and the influence of the human spirit. Because the potential for greatness lives in each and every one of us. I thank you tonight for seeing just a glimpse of greatness in me. First and foremost, I need to thank Michigan State University's Alumni Association. The gratitude in my spirit tonight is absolutely overwhelming. To Marissa Beatty, my MSU kindred spirit who nominated me for this award, thank you so much. I am so proud to be a graduate of this university, as you could tell from the picture, right? Every picture has green and white in it. In fact, I was actually the first Zachary to graduate from a four-year institution in my family, but I was not the last. In fact, wait, no, don't clap yet, don't clap yet. In fact, I started a tradition in our family. My cousin Terrell Zachary, he's on his way, but he's coming. My cousin Terrell Zachary is a Spartan graduate. My brother Trey Ray, he's a Spartan graduate. My sister Kristen is a Spartan graduate. My cousin Tori is a Spartan graduate. My cousin Tariq is a current student here at MSU. And my cousin Terrence will be here in the fall. Now you may clap. You see, for us, being a Spartan has become a family tradition. And as our children and our grandchildren attend, it will become our legacy. In addition to all that green and white, my brother and I also met both our spouses here. So Katrina and David, raise your hand, because they are also Spartan legacies. To my parents who have given me every advantage in life, thank you. My dad lovingly jokes that he wrote a check to MSU every semester from 1998 to 2010. I want you to know that none of your sacrifices were in vain, and I only hope that I have lived up to everything that you imagined and expected. To my uncles, aunts, families, for always supporting me on this journey, I thank you. My college roommate is here, Miss Maya. This brings back so many memories, some a little too good to mention tonight. To my board and my staff, thank you for making work a dream and for supporting me and the disruption that we're able to do in West Michigan. To my sisters of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, thank you for coming and supporting me on tonight. And finally, to my family, my girls who are not here tonight but share their mommies sometimes unhappily and unwillingly with the community, I absolutely do this for you so that you can grow up knowing that nothing is impossible. And to my husband and partner in crime, we met on this campus just over 20 years ago, the day before we started our freshman year in college. None of this would be possible without you. Because of you, my dreams have come true tonight. Thank you, Michigan State University. Thank you.
So inspirational, so bring tears to your eyes, both of you. Let's give Shannon and Jennifer another big round of applause. It's amazing. Just a little personal side note, I met my husband here too, and we're married 29 years, so way to go. Our next award category is the Honorary Alumni Award, which is presented to a non-alumni nominee who has made an outstanding impact on behalf of Michigan State University on a local, state, national, or international level. Let's meet the recipient of the 2018 Honorary Alumni Award.
I happen to be with a company, Huntington Bank, whose purpose is my purpose. And it just happens that we absolutely align, which is why I love this company so much. And so we live our purpose every day, which is to make people's lives better, help businesses thrive, and strengthen the communities that we serve. And when I leave this place, and I don't mean Huntington, I mean this world, I just want people that were in my life to say that their life was better because I was in it. There's no question that whether you're talking about my spouse or my children, if you take a look at what their degrees and you take a look at what they've been able to accomplish from a career standpoint, I think Michigan State gave them the foundation that they needed to have the confidence and the content to be able to go and get that job. It also is such a diverse campus in terms of, I'm not just talking about diversity of color, but diversity of thought. And people come from all walks of life into that campus. That isn't the case at every school. When you actually experience what you can learn there and the opportunity it gives you when you leave there, how can any parent not be proud of that and thankful to all of the Spartans? And I think that the alumni are such a close-knit family, and my children and my spouse are part of that. They have connections all over the world because you're a Spartan. I'm really proud of that. Spartans will accomplish anything they set their mind to.
Ladies and gentlemen, honorary alumna Sandra Pierce.
I am a Spartan now. Thank you so much. Congratulations to all of tonight's award recipients. The alumni of Michigan State are such a close network of passionate individuals, and you're 500,000 strong. That is something to be really proud of. I'm actually really humbled and honored to stand among you this evening. We are all so fortunate to benefit from the impact of this university. What began in 1855 as a bold experiment actually democratized higher education, and it brought science and innovation into everyday life. Today, Michigan State is one of the top research universities in the nation. It sits on one of the greenest campuses in the country, and it welcomes anyone that is eager to learn, regardless of your social status, regardless of your skin color, regardless of your religious beliefs, regardless of your sexual preference, and regardless of your income level. 50,000 students today at Michigan State are able to take advantage of over 200 programs and over 25 undergraduate and graduate programs that are in the top 20 in the nation. Thank you to Ben Maybeck for nominating me. Thank you all for educating my husband of 40 years. That has not always been easy. Thank you for educating our two daughters, Megan and Jessica, our two son-in-laws, but you're not done yet, because our son Tommy is a sophomore year, and we just gotta finish him up. Have a great evening, I really do. I'm heart-warmed by this honor. Thank you so much.
You've been educating for the rest of us 40 years.
Congratulations again, Sandra. It is my pleasure now to introduce you to our next speaker, Miss April Klobus, the President and CEO of Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. The MSU FCU has been an unwavering supporter of MSU and the surrounding community now for decades. It is the largest MSU donor in mid-Michigan and among the top 20 in the Empower Extraordinary campaign. April holds 2 degrees from Michigan State, a BA in marketing and an MA in advertising, as well as an MBA from Western Michigan University. April is one of the most generous leaders in our community. We tag team a lot on a lot of events, and it's always a pleasure to hear her speak. She's an inspiration, and we're very, very lucky to have her here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss April Klobus.
You ad-libbed. Good evening. Actually, I get to interrupt the fabulous program with sponsor remarks. So thank you, Sherry, for adding some of the content for the credit union. I've attended this program for many, many years as a sponsor of the event. And as an alum, I'm always inspired by what everyone has to say. And I leave here feeling very proud to be a Spartan and amongst family, in that what I learn every event is always the same, and what Spartans will achieve. And Spartans will create, they will be innovative, they will be dedicated, and they will also treat you like family. And so the story I get to share with you today is that the credit union came from those roots. And the credit union was founded 81 years ago by 7 Spartans who had all of those characteristics to create a place that would help families, that they had the creativity and the innovation to start something brand new on this campus, to help their fellow Spartans have access to financial services that were priced in a competitive way that they could afford. And so today, as noted, the credit union has grown to be very successful because we serve Spartan families across not just Michigan, but the US, and now internationally. And so with that, the credit union has grown to be $4.1 billion. We have 886 employees, and we serve 265,000 Spartans across the US. And so we are proud to continue that legacy and help our Spartan families achieve their dreams, much as our award winners here this evening have achieved theirs. So thank you very much. And for those of you that are a member of the credit union, thank you for your business, because that allows us to continue to support the university in this way.
We love MSU FCU. Go green. That's right. Thank you, April. Next, we're going to recognize this year's recipients of the Alumni Service Award. This award is presented to Michigan State University alumni who have demonstrated service to MSU and or meritorious public service on a local, state, national, or international level. Let's meet our 2018 Alumni Service recipients.
You probably know I never really left MSU. So the path has been one at MSU. And so that started by being an undergrad. Well, while I was a student employee, I worked in many places, but the last place I worked was physics. At that time, it was just physics. And after I graduated, they gave me a full-time job. I had all these experiences over the years on campus with lots of different people. And they're really what formed everything for me. So it's mostly the people I met, many of them employees, sometimes students, but I met such a wide variety of people across all the units in campus that that's really what I think was a key to my success. So it turns out that working at MSU and being careful, not having family to support, I ended up in a situation where basically, as I started looking at the retirement funds I'd accumulated, I had, in some essence, nothing to do with them. So I took advantage of all of the retirement programs at MSU, which, not having anything else I really needed to do with it, it was sort of became obvious, well, I should try to give back to MSU. I think my self-discovery has been that I really like helping people. That's really the most satisfying to me. Spartans will make a difference everywhere they go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alumni Service Award recipient Mark Conlon, classes of 1969 and 1972.
I don't do this very often, so, and I don't have the, I can tell I don't have the sort of glamorous career nationally or internationally that some of these other people did. But what I can say is, so sometime in June or July, I came back to my office from a meeting, and there was a voicemail from a former director of the Alumni Association, who I'd known for many years since he was a student, congratulating me on winning this award. I have to admit, I didn't even know it existed. But as I read about it, I got more and more enthused, and I'm, of course, very honored to receive it. A number of people who I'm sure if I name, I'll forget somebody, but Karen Wank from the College of Natural Science, Shannon Small, and other people who's the director of the planetarium, I'll plug for them. Our former chair, among others, who's now the Dean of Natural Science, they apparently all wrote letters. I had no idea this was happening, and so it was a total surprise. As I said there, in many cases, I came here in '64 as a freshman to get an engineering degree and to play hockey. I did it mostly because I had friends on the hockey team, and they loved MSU. Well, I came, I didn't get to play hockey, but I did get an engineering degree. And I did a lot of student work while I was here. And I ended up deciding that I wasn't a very good engineer. Or I probably wasn't going to be a very good engineer, and I learned of a skill set that was better in organization and management, and so I went over to then it was not the Broad College of Business, it was just the business college. And for some reason, they managed to look at me, and although when I was at school, we didn't have half grades, and the normal grade point at MSU was pretty much a 2, not closer to a 3. But I did great on taking tests. So they admitted me to the MBA program, and about at the same time, MSU hired me full-time in the physics astronomy department where I'd been a student. So one class a quarter at that time, I got an MBA program. I got an MBA finally after 3 years. I never had a plan, I'll say. I've been extremely lucky. I started working in the physics department in their stock room. Their business manager left. They liked what I was doing. They gave me a job as their business manager. I since never looked back. I'd actually worked on a second master's degree in telecommunications. I was almost done. I was looking at the industry and I'm going, I just don't want to do this, so I stopped. So I stayed in physics through its growth period. I don't know, the growth in physics astronomy mirrors what's happened in most of the university. Huge growth, large faculty, huge research dollars. 15 years ago, 17 years ago, brand new, huge building. I've never looked back. I've never regretted the decision I made to stay at MSU, even though I sort of fell into it. So once again, I'm really honored by this and all the people that I've met. And my success is due mostly, I would say, to the people I've worked with or the people I've known on campus. And there have, at this stage, literally been hundreds. And in fact, I see many of them who were students that I worked with are still in Lansing, and I occasionally run into them. Thank you once again, the Alumni Association, everyone who nominated me and wrote letters, and everyone who came here tonight to honor not only me, but all the recipients. Thank you.
Being encouraged to try something new, being encouraged to take some risks was the difference between me having this career, wonderful career in engineering, and going a whole different path. I was the first woman Student Engineering Council chair. I was not someone who came from a background where I would expect to be a leader, yet I was encouraged to be a leader. I had times where I struggled, and literally I had a point where I almost dropped out of engineering because I didn't think I was capable of being an engineer. I worked for Alliant Computer System early in my career. We designed and manufactured the world's first commercial parallel processor. And just being a part of that project from a technical perspective was amazing. And also, it was one of the best experiences for a whole team really working together with one goal, very focused, very collaborative, and actually achieving that goals, which was something that's been stressed when I was at Michigan State and important in my career. The work week is too long to be spending it doing something that you don't enjoy and that you don't feel that you're making a difference. Being an engineer was a great opportunity to just really delve into problems, but also to turn around and say, the things I did make a difference. I can point to the computer system at Alliant and the day the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration called us up and said, we've used your computer to detect wind shear. Is solving a problem could never be solved before, detecting wind shear in real time, and that plane that just was saved was thanks to you. Spartans will make a difference in the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alumni Service Award recipient, Betty Shanahan, class of 1978.
Good evening. My congratulations to this evening's award recipients. It is humbling to be in such a special cohort. Thank you to President Engler, the MSU Alumni Association, Penny Wersing, and all those who helped her prepare the nomination. Receiving this award means the world to me, and I will forever cherish it. I am rarely at a loss for words, but I was dumbfounded when I learned I was receiving this honor. What have I done for MSU that can even begin to repay what MSU has given to me? I am the beneficiary of an institution that believes the title Pioneer Land Grant Institution is not just a historical distinction, but our enduring mission. As founding President Williams said at our dedication in 1857, formerly, higher education has been provided only for the favored few. Since then, I, and countless others, and probably many of you in this room, were embraced as Spartans, even though the attributes of who we are or where we come from meant we are not among the favored few. During my years at MSU, I was impacted by so many. When I doubted my capabilities, the confidence of a very special advisor motivated me to persist in engineering. My technical and professional expertise was formed by gender-blind faculty during a time when only 2% of engineering students were female. The administration encouraged me to become a student leader, although I never considered leadership within my reach. I even must thank MSU for introducing me to my life partner, beloved husband of 40 years, and fellow committed Spartan, Bob Newber. We met in calculus class. I left MSU extremely well prepared for a very fulfilling career, a passion for engineering, and a wonderful life. My approach to thank MSU is to support the continuation of MSU's land grant promise for the current and future generations. I am fortunate to have participated in and continue to participate in meaningful volunteer opportunities. Many have welcomed me back to MSU as a volunteer, but I particularly want to acknowledge Executive Vice President Satish Utpa, Engineering Dean Leo Kempel, Electrical and Computer Engineering Chair John Papapalomero, and Associate Director of Development Nicole Proctor-Kanyama. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for your partnership with me and all willing alumni. And most of all, thank you for your leadership to our beloved MSU. In closing, I want to share the words that capture why I'm so proud to be a Spartan. It's not just what we do, but why and how we do it that distinguish us as Spartans. Spartans will. Thank you. Go Green!
Congratulations, Mark and Elizabeth. You're very, very inspirational. Our next award category is the Philanthropist Award, which is presented to an individual, family, association, corporation, or foundation with a proven record of providing major ongoing financial support and leadership to Michigan State University. Their generosity encourages others to take leadership roles in philanthropy toward MSU. Let's meet this year's Philanthropist Award recipient.
So I got interested in genetic algorithms and evolutionary computation while I was a graduate student at University of Michigan with Eric Goodman, a longtime professor here at Michigan State. And the leader in the field of genetic algorithms at the time, Professor John Holland, was the professor to both Eric and myself, and he promoted this idea that genetic algorithms could solve complicated problems. And over the years, I extended John Holland's idea from the domain of chromosomes into the domain of computer programs. And that's what genetic programming is. It's the automatic creation of computer programs using a genetic and evolutionary process. Of course, Eric had been doing genetic algorithms for years here at Michigan State. And he came to MSU and worked in the computer science and the engineering department, and over the years promoted the field of genetic algorithms and evolutionary computation, and in recent years started the Beacon program and acquired two $25 million grants from the National Science Foundation to promote the program. So I'm a supporter of the Michigan State University College of Engineering because of its achievement in becoming the worldwide center of gravity for the field of genetic algorithms, genetic programming, and evolutionary computation. And it seems to me that everyone who's been fortunate should give back to the future in the form of helping students and postdocs and faculty continue the great work of the different universities here in Michigan. Spartans will open doors to many future opportunities.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. John Koza is unable to be with us this evening. Accepting the Philanthropist Award on his behalf is Dr. Eric Goodman.
Thank you. John is sorry that he couldn't be with you here tonight, but he was here in August to record these remarks. It's been a pleasure knowing John since our days, as he mentioned, in graduate school, but in the last 25 years, we've worked very closely together organizing professional society for evolutionary computation. Now, he didn't define it, but evolutionary computation is a form of artificial intelligence that is used to evolve solutions to problems. And what John did with genetic programming was extended it so that instead of just evolving solutions to individual problems, you can evolve computer programs that solve problems. And so it was a great contribution to the field, and it brought him great fame. He's known as the father of genetic programming. As you may know, winning academic fame does not necessarily carry fortune along with it. And John happily also was the inventor of the scratch-off lottery ticket. That does bring fortune along with it. And I believe the state of Michigan was the second customer of his company, in fact. So he's been a player here for a very long time. Happily, however, John chose to leave his legacy not to the Michigan Lottery, but to Michigan State University in support of the field of evolutionary computation. Through the Beacon Center for the Study of Evolution in Action, as John mentioned, MSU is becoming a focal point for this area worldwide, and John donated money for an endowment for a chair in genetic programming, and the John R. Koza Chair in Genetic Programming is with us here tonight, Professor Wolfgang Bonshoff and his wife Pia. But John wasn't done. John has left bequests of another $10.7 million to support additional endowed chairs, to support endowed graduate fellowships, student travel, professional meetings, many other things. And those will all be coordinated and coming out of Michigan State University, again, adding to our reputation and renown as leaders in this field. So we are very grateful to John for his vision and his generosity, and John wanted me to say that he's very grateful to the Alumni Association for this recognition. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. John would be very proud, very proud. Now you know the rest of the story, right? I always like those little nuggets. Thank you for sharing that. Well, congratulations to all of our Alumni Service and Philanthropist Award winners tonight. And now I am pleased to introduce you to one of the leaders of Michigan State Board of Trustee Vice Chairman, Mr. Joel Ferguson. Joel has been a successful business and civic leader throughout his professional career, whether he's been orchestrating a surprise victory in a presidential campaign or spearheading a multi-million-dollar business venture. He was elected to the MSU Board of Trustees for his first 8-year term on the board.
We're going to change you because you must have the later, we're going to have you introduce Diane.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
There's no teleprompter. What am I supposed to do? Thank you. Okay, I call you my production assistant. All right. All right, okay, so thank you, Joel. All right, let's give Joel a round of applause. He'll find out about it somewhere. Okay, now I am pleased to introduce you to one of the leaders of Michigan State University Board of Trustees, Mrs. Diane Byram. Yes. Diane is a partner with Byram and Fisk Advocacy Communications and was elected to the board in 2008 and 2016. As an MSU alumna in agriculture economics, she is a veteran politician who served more than 20 years as a county commissioner, a state representative, and a state senator. She was the first woman elected as the State House Democratic leader. Trustee Byram has served as co-director of the Michigan Political Leadership Program, an MSU program that trains our future public policy makers. She is also the co-chairperson of the Presidential Search Committee. Please welcome my friend, and that was a cold read, I want you to know. I did not practice. My friend, Diane Byram.
Hi. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Not a problem. I actually found it quite humorous. But thank you very much. It's truly my pleasure to be part of tonight's ceremony. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I want to extend congratulations to all of tonight's honorees. And thank you to everyone that's joining this evening. Friends, family, colleagues, past honorees, for joining this evening and recognizing, acknowledging the accomplishments and the outstanding new group of award-winning Spartans. It's a particular joy to be here in this room where these Spartans who Michigan State and the Alumni Association are honoring, because they are outstanding people who have accomplished many outstanding things. Among them are scientists, lawyers, economists, engineers, entrepreneurs, leaders in business and public health, and a music educator and activist. They have all taken something unique from Michigan State: an education, a set of values, a passionate connection for research, or even just a particular fondness for the tenacity of being a Spartan, and have given back to the world tenfold over. And yet, they haven't forgotten where they came from. My fellow trustees and I would like to congratulate each and every one of the honorees this evening for championing Michigan State in all that they do. Spartans will.
Thank you, Trustee Byram. Our next award category is the Distinguished Alumni, which is given to an alumni who has differentiated themselves by obtaining the highest level of professional accomplishments. Let's now meet the 2018 Distinguished Alumni Awardee.
Michigan State gave me was a sense of diversity in opinion, diversity in race and ethnicity, a diversity in religion, diversity in politics. And in that milieu, I learned science, and I absorbed my own understanding of my role in the future of science. And that piece, which exposed me, a small town kid from Indiana, to this larger world, was a step that I've been able to take to larger cities and larger populations, to larger countries. And it's been enormously helpful to me. In the early 80s, I was fortunate to be at Washington University with some great colleagues. I had a background in viruses and in plant cell culture when I was at Michigan State. I always had the drive to try to develop methods to prevent viruses from causing disease. I learned how to develop genes that, when used in other plants, would allow that plant to be resistant to the virus that you're targeting. So our discovery was made with a certain virus in tomatoes, and it worked. We had disease-resistant tomatoes. It was really fun, and it was a great time in science. Many others from around the world, from China, from Poland, from Latin America, from Europe, from many states in the US were able to repeat what I did. There's nothing more gratifying than to have other scientists repeat what you've done and validate your theories and your hypotheses. My biggest motivation has always been to try to help someone else achieve their goals more effectively, to make discoveries in science that were useful to people outside of university, to the public, including through agriculture and then later through food safety and nutrition, through advice and counsel that I've been able to give to nonprofits as well as profit-making organizations. The drive has always been to help to make the world a better place through contributions that I can make, however humble they might be. Perhaps it will make a difference to someone. And for me, it all began at Michigan State University. Spartans will be committed to leaving the world a better place.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished alumnus Dr. Roger Beachy, class of 1973, honorary degree 2001.
I'm not known for short words, so I have to write it down to make sure it doesn't get too long. It's been a real pleasure to be back at Michigan State. I spent the day with students and graduate and faculty, even gave a lecture, and I had a wonderful day. I really want to thank the association for the selection, for the honor of being included in the list of those that are similarly recognized by this great university tonight, and as in previous years as well. I am indeed humbled. Thank you very much in addition to Corey Palmer and all the development staff that made this such a wonderful day for my wife and I. We had a really great time. And my friend from years and years ago, Russell Freed, Professor Russell Freed, who made the nomination, I have no clue how that happened, and I don't know who wrote the letters of support. There must have been some. So I don't even know who to thank for all those letters. But I'm privileged to be here tonight, and thanks again. Second, I want to recognize my life support system that has made all of this possible. My wife, Terry, who is with me tonight, and also an alum of MSU and the Communications College. She helped to make our Cherry Lane home. By the way, I saw Cherry Lane is gone, which was a surprise. We wanted to go back to our old place. It was indeed old when we were here. And she stood by me through all the things, the times that were less than financially stable. When when we made sure our wonderful family remained close and connected through these past 50-plus years. You guys were talking about 40s, 50-plus for us. Thanks, my love, for all that you did. Now, choosing one's life career and pursuing passions and pathways to success relies on foundations that begin in childhood, are strengthened by experiences and convictions, and are nurtured by mentors and teachers throughout life, even to today. This includes strong and impactful high school teachers, college teachers, and graduate school professors and mentors who provided for me opportunities for experiential learning, for permission to explore ideas and theories and hypotheses. My professor here at MSU, the late Harry Murakishi, and many, many faculty members in the College of Natural Sciences and around the campus. My toughest courses were in biochemistry, so I didn't take it for credit, but I did sit in on them, and I enjoyed every single minute here. They were critical, they were helpful, but most of all, they built my confidence. They were patient and supportive as I pushed new ideas in pursuit of an hypothesis that formed when I was here at MSU and actually remained part of my research program in my labs until they closed several years ago. I credit these experiences for my current role as advisor, a successful advisor, I think, to private companies, to research institutes in Italy and in South Africa and India and in China, and to the nation via my role in the National Science Board, which governs the National Science Foundation, and the U.S. Academies of Science and others. I also want to say a few words about the importance of support for science, for STEM education, and for building the U.S. capacity to lead the economic future of this country of ours. Agencies in the U.S. government, private foundations, and private sector companies were instrumental for the financial support of my research, and I am forever indebted to the citizens, to the philanthropists, and to the CEOs that made it all possible. Under the current economic and policy environments in Washington, D.C., the support for education, for discovery, and for translation to solutions and products is continually under pressure. Budgets for science are discretionary, as you know, and when times are tough, policymakers may fail to see the link between research discoveries and impacts on the life of people, and strengthening of our economy and may turn a dim eye to support. We are very fortunate this year that we had 8 to 12 new scientists and engineers and physicians that were elected to Congress for our next round. So we're hopeful that this will indeed lead to additional support for science in this great country of ours. The public does not generally support what they don't understand or they don't think valuable. For many, science falls in that category, and voices for support on Capitol Hill can be muted or silenced. That needs to change. Science leads this country, always has, and our future as a great nation depends on continuing support for science, for education, for STEM. By the way, I was really pleased to see that new structure go up and what I heard from the new STEM education programs that are happening on this great campus. Science, education, and preparing for an ever-changing future that will bring disruptions in jobs and careers and climate and weather patterns, increases in population and migrations of people around the globe are more critical now than ever before. We need that support. Support for universities such as Michigan State University is critical for developing developing those strategies for a promising future. Now, one could look at these challenges in a light or in a dark perspective. I come from the former landscape and have great optimism that human discovery, ingenuity, and entrepreneurism will discover new knowledge and create mechanisms for adapting to the changes and to the challenges that we face. It also requires that we be the best American society possible, treating each other well, with respect, and with caring. That's a big deal. Caring for those neighbors that we are, those that we choose to serve, regardless of where we come from, who we are, and what belief systems we have. So at Michigan State, students, professors, scientists, educators of all flavors create a place where one can prepare to be part of the solutions for tomorrow. It was so for me in my time, and it will be in the future. I am absolutely grateful to MSU for giving me the tools to help to get started. Thank you very much.
A Spartan is someone who has had the privilege of getting a fabulous education, a fabulous preparation for life. A Spartan is somebody who's going to go out in the world and make his or her mark and give back to MSU. I got a fabulous education at MSU. I was a history major and I studied history and philosophy and art history and economics, among other things. I also took diving and I also took a typing class. And it's hard to think of anything that I took at MSU that hasn't had a lasting benefit. I'm a very proud graduate of MSU, and I think that what the university stands for, its aspirations and its accomplishments are things that I deeply admire. And I think that they make a world of difference in the lives of many, many, many people. The school is just accomplishing so much, even though at the moment it is facing challenges as well. But we mustn't lose sight of the fact that it continues to do a fabulous job in making progress in many, many areas and in giving students fabulous preparation for their future lives. Spartans will thrive.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished alumna Patricia Gagan, class of 1969.
It's a great privilege to receive this award. I'm a proud alumna of a great institution, Michigan State University. Thank you, Interim President Engler and Provost June Youat. Thanks to Jennifer Decker of the MSU Alumni Association for making this event happen and paying attention to all the details required to bring it together. MSU has been blessed with a long line of dedicated and visionary leaders, including some I've had the privilege to know: John Hanna, Clifton Wharton, Peter McPherson, and Luana Simon. It's a great history. MSU has a brilliant faculty, innovative administrators, skilled staff, and wonderful students. The best part of this award experience, however, has been coming back to campus and over this 2-day period, doing many memorable things, including meeting with students at the Honors College, the Citizen Scholars Program of the College of Arts and Letters, the FAME program, and the Women's Leadership Institute. Also, touring for the first time the amazing Broad Art Museum, as well as the very new MSU Broad Art Lab across the street. And touring the many wonderful facilities at the beautifully renovated Wharton Center for Performing Arts, one of the absolute gems of the campus and of campus life. And for this incredible experience, I need to thank my personal heroes, the MSU development staff. Yes, I mean the people responsible for asking alumni and friends of MSU for money. They make the philanthropic experience effective and meaningful. I can't name them all, but I'd like to express my thanks to some of them. To Mark Turman, responsible for so many things, including wrangling the adventure that resulted in the Broad Art Museum. To Tanya Frisbee of the Honors College. To Christine Radke of the College of Arts and Letters. To Nick McLaren of the College of Social Science. And to the MSU person who has worked closest with me over the past 2 years, Rachel Carl, Rachel has jurisdiction over alumni in the New York metro area. Whether we call their work development or advancement or fundraising, I want to give my deepest thanks to all of them for their invaluable service to MSU.
I think I've been very lucky in my life. Coming over to America when I was 19 and going to graduate school at Michigan State, I think that really has been the foundation of what I've been able to achieve over the years. Learning both about America from Michigan State, which I think was a really important part of my real education, but also learning about the economy and about finance. I really felt that that's a bedrock from which I've been able to do things over the years. I also like trying to communicate with people. I mean, I think a lot of economists, a lot of people on Wall Street are so focused on either the depth of the subject they're exploring or trying to make themselves look smart, that they don't actually explain to the average person what's going on. I spend a lot of time focusing on how do you make this clear? How do you make this vivid? And then I think the third thing that really motivates me in my professional career is just working with the great people I get to work with here at JP Morgan. I have a very young team. I feel like Grandpa Dave at this stage. They're interested, they're energetic, they're full of life and ideas, and I think it's a wonderful thing to be able to mentor young people and to watch their careers grow and help their careers grow. I think being a Spartan means being willing to do the hard work to do a job well. One of the things I've admired about students from Michigan State that I've encountered in my professional career is that they don't turn up their noses at the tough work that actually needs to be done. There's a lot of interesting stuff out there. There's a lot of exciting stuff out there also. Sometimes there are long hours. Sometimes there are tasks which are not that much fun, but you need to do them all. And one of the things I find about Michigan State graduates is that they will cheerfully do what's necessary to do to get the job done. I came from Ireland. No particular reason why the taxpayers in Michigan should have subsidized my education, but they did. I could not have afforded to go to college, to graduate school otherwise. And they did fund my education through graduate school, and that has really been the foundation on which I've been able to build a pretty successful career and a satisfying career. So I'm just very, very grateful to Michigan State and the people of Michigan for that. The Spartans will succeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished alumnus, Dr. David B. Kelly, classes of 1986 and 1989.
Thank you so much. I'm truly humbled to be in such distinguished and inspirational company. I was thinking today, I was taking a car, I was driving along into campus up 96 or across 96. I was thinking of a day over 35 years ago when I did the same thing for the first time. And I remember coming onto Grand River Avenue, and just at the corner of Bogue and Grand River, there was a sign for Michigan State University, and it said the premier land grant university. Now, I didn't know at that time what a land grant university was, but over the years, I've sort of come to think of Michigan State as more of a life grant university because of what Michigan State has granted me. I mean, first and most obviously, Michigan State granted me an education through the wonderful teachers in the Department of Economics, some of whom are still here today, and I thank you for coming this evening. Michigan State granted me the opportunity to teach for the first time for a year and to learn the challenges of trying to explain economics to a group of undergraduates when things are warming up outside and it's springtime and this is a long class and you have to kind of get to the point. And actually, Michigan State granted me also my first job opportunity when I walked into the office of Ron Fisher, and he told me of his friend Doug Drake over at the Department of Management and Budget, who had a job opening for a research assistant, which actually enabled me also to finish my PhD. So Michigan State's granted me a lot professionally, but also Michigan State has granted me a lot personally. I mean, I grew up in Ireland. My father was a famous politician. My brother was a very gregarious and well-known person in his own right. And I was rapidly going from being my father's son to being my brother's brother. And I remember the first day I came over to Michigan State. I arrived at Owen Hall. I was stupid enough and cheap enough that I decided I was going to carry my bags to Owen Hall from the bus station. And I sort of paused at a bench outside the building and started up a conversation with a student, a woman who's studying here. And she said, "Your accent, where's that from?" And I said, "Ireland." And she said, "Oh yeah, that's beside Belgium." And at that moment, the two thoughts came to my mind. First of all, Americans really ought to know more geography. But the other thought was, this is freedom. I could do anything. They don't even know where I come from. But also, I think I'm so grateful for the fact that instead of ending up on the East Coast or the West Coast, I ended up in the heart of America when I arrived here. Because I think that people from the rest of the world don't really understand Americans the way I got to learn to understand Americans. You know, people, when I went back at Christmas the first time, people said, what was different? And I said, well, not much. I knew a lot about America, but the one thing that struck me is people always said that Ireland is a very welcoming place. Nobody in Ireland was ever as welcoming as the people of mid-Michigan were, and the people of East Lansing, and I've always appreciated that. And finally, most importantly, Michigan State granted me an introduction on March 31st of 1984, just as winter was turning into spring, in Owen Hall cafeteria. Michigan State granted me an introduction to a smart and beautiful and strong woman who I've been blessed to share my life with ever since, my wife, Sari. So Michigan State has been my life grant university. What it is granted, I'm not going to give back. I can't give back. But I would like, as much as possible, as I'm sure everybody here would like, to give it forward. Thank you.
I think the key to my success has really been my persistence over the years. I think about the years that I was at MSU and I was majoring in biochemistry, which was really a very, very tough major to be in. And I wanted to be a doctor, and I failed at that. And I picked myself up and brushed myself off and went to law school. I think that, success doesn't come easily or quickly to somebody. It's a lot of hard work. So the fact that I got through law school, got a job, and then eventually rose to the level of general counsel of McDonald's Corporation, which was, it's a big multinational corporation. It was a great job for me. That was a huge accomplishment, something I was really proud to accomplish. It was a very special day when they named me general counsel. Today, it's a little bit different because I'm now retired from my full-time job. I have more time to devote to things that I really think are important. And one of those things is women and leadership. I wish I had understood and known more about the role that leadership plays in success over the long term. And so now I'm able to do that at Michigan State with the Women's Leadership Initiative that we've been working on. And it's very exciting work. And it's so fulfilling to just be with these young women who are just starting out on their careers and being able to kind of give them a boost up. And the great thing about what I got at Michigan State was learning how to learn and learning how to think about things, because being a science major, I did learn how to analyze issues and problems. And when I went to law school, it was all very natural to me to move into that. And that, I think, was very much a key to my success in law school and then later in life. Spartans will create a better future.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished alumna, Gloria Santona, class of 1971.
Well, I want to thank the MSU Alumni Association for this wonderful award. I really appreciate it. And as I've gotten this award, I've been thinking back on my history and thinking about all the people who've contributed to my success over the years, and there are too many to mention. So I'm not going to try to mention them. I think when I think back, I think about success really is about two things. It's about your roots and your wings. And in my case, my roots were deep in a small town in Indiana. But when I came to Michigan State University at 18, Michigan State gave me my wings. And it gave me it fed my hunger for knowledge. It taught me that the world was a much bigger place than what I ever realized, being in Indiana. And it led me to a wonderful career that I've had. And so I really feel compelled to help young women also find their wings at Michigan State University, and I'm so excited to be involved with this Women's Leadership Initiative, which is really a passion of mine. And in that regard, I am going to thank one group, which is the College of Social Science, which has adopted me, apparently, from the College of Natural Science. I've transferred over at this age. But anyway, I want to thank you for this wonderful award, and I'm hoping to continue to work with MSU to help young women find their wings.
You know, I went in as a boy and came out as a man into Michigan State, for which I'll always be grateful. My professors there, my friends there. In fact, the job that I got out of Michigan State, I got hired by 3M. Many years later, I found out that there was a recommendation letter that Dr. Omura had sent on my behalf, and I didn't even know about it. And he was one of the most demanding professors I had at Michigan State. So I think it's not overstatement to say that a big part of where I am today is because of the trajectory at which Michigan State was able to launch me into the world. I think we are living in this incredible time of, I call it this Cambrian explosion of technology. There is so many new technologies and ideas that are coming up. The ability to harness all of that, to improve how people live, work, and play, I think is a tremendous sort of a giant puzzle. Is how do you put technology to work to improve life. I have now entered what I hope will be the last leg of my career, which is one of moving from a player to a coach. I have been a CEO of 2 companies that I've founded and sold, and now I want to educate and enable other great CEOs. So I now run a venture capital firm, with $100 million of funding in it that focuses on artificial intelligence, and we have 9 CEOs in the portfolio. So I now want to be in the business of enabling other great CEOs. So, you know, racing is one of those passions that I've had ever since I remember when I got my bicycle. I just love speed, and I love the whole, passion of connecting with the world. So racing to me is meditation in motion. People go into a quiet corner and meditate. To me, I feel like I'm meditating when I'm in the middle of a race car, in the middle of a race, because to be a good racer, you really have to stay connected and be in the moment. You have to be connected with the car, you have to be connected with your navigator, you have to be connected with the road. It makes you focus and still your mind on the task at hand. That gives me purpose, that gives me the ability to shut down all the circuit breakers in my mind and really sort of have fun and meet new people and see new cultures. I think being a Spartan means everything to me. I think being a Spartan means being unstoppable and feeling unlimited in terms of what you can do. Spartans will change the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished alumnus, Manoj Saxena, class of 1991.
Well, good evening. I want to first start by congratulating all the winners. I knew coming into this that this was a significant honor and a big deal, but when I heard your stories, I really understood how big a deal this is. Because you guys just are so inspirational, and I feel honored to be to be recognized with you all. I also want to thank MSU and this great state of Michigan. I couldn't agree more with David. For a kid from India to come in here to be given the love, the support, and the wings, I'm eternally grateful. I'm grateful to the Alumni Association for identifying and selecting me as a awardee. And I also want to, call out Dr. Omura, who truly has been someone who, when you look back in your life, changed the direction of my life. He was a professor when I was at MSU. Never met anyone like that. He taught me not just marketing and strategy. He taught me how to think, and he taught me how to question and challenge stuff. So not only did I get the academic toolkit, I also got the mental framework and the toolkit to how to approach life, and it's something that has stayed with me. So I want to thank you again, Dr. Umura, that, for changing my life. And earlier this week, we announced a professorship in Dr. Umura's honor on responsible AI. And this is just my first token of appreciation in what you have done for us. And thank you. And I sincerely hope that's the first of many other things that I get to do in terms of giving back to Michigan State. I also want to thank Dean Gupta and Vivian. I mean, you guys have been incredible. Every time I meet him, he's got this smile on his face. He's got this art of the possible, written all over him. I've never seen him, down or discouraged. And again, we are fortunate to have you as the dean of our business school. I also have today with me my daughter and my brother, my co-pilot and navigator, my brother. I want to thank him for keeping me alive because these races I run, there's no map. So you're going hard and fast. He's reading the map to me. He says 100 R3, no cut left. That means you go 100 meters as fast as you can, hard right, no cut left, meaning if you go left, you die. And he's the one who has done all these races around the world. We are now preparing to do around the world in 80 days. So that's probably in 2020 or 2021. So, but in more than that, I mean, he's been my brother, he's been my son, and he's been truly my companion all through in terms of discovering what connecting with people around the world means through race car. My daughter, I mean, she knows this, but when she was born, I was at 3M. I was there 7 years. I had, I think, 8 promotions in that. And when she was born, I realized that the next generation's here, and if I don't start doing something bigger than just getting linear promotions in an amazing company, the golden handcuffs are only going to get diamond studded. So she was the one. Her birth was the one that set me off on the journey to take $300,000 on 13 credit cards and launch my company. I don't advise anyone to do that. But I was so passionate about it, and my wife, I call her my first venture capitalist. She was the one. I did a spreadsheet analysis telling her that if everything goes to hell in a handbasket, we'll have to sell our home. We have to move in a condo. I said it's 3 years and 8 months before I'll get you back into a house by going back to 3M or some other company. So I've been very, very blessed in life. Where I stand here today, I was just reflecting today. It's 30 years. When I was here at Michigan State, I was telling my brother, it's 30 years and 50 pounds later that I stand here today. And I look back at my life, there has been a tremendous amount of blessings that I've had. And as we look ahead, the part I would like to implore you to start understanding and spending more time is around what we are going through as a nation, not just in a society way, but from a technology and the adoption of technology way. I truly believe we are going through one of the most historic changes as a race, even bigger than the agrarian revolution or the industrial revolution. And this stuff that's coming at us, this super convergence of technologies, is going to change us as a society. It's going to change us as people. And in many cases, it's going to change us for the good. And there are many cases, it's going to make the evil more evil. And one of the things, particularly in this area of artificial intelligence, I had the honor and privilege of running IBM Watson. So my second company was bought by IBM. I ended up at IBM Watson, and they asked me to start the program. And looking at this technology, there are 2 things that stand out for me. One is this is the first technology that we have built that is going to amplify our brains. The industrial age amplified our arms and legs. And we have never invented as a race a technology that was superior to our brain. But this is the first technology that has the potential to learn and grow at a rate and pace that's more superior to our brain. And which means a couple of implications. One, there's going to be a tremendous amount of opportunity to make money and create businesses. But second, I think it has a vast potential to make the rich richer and the evil more evil. And I think it's one area that we need to, as an education, as an institution, as a pioneer institution, one of the reasons I wanted to start with that endowment in Dr. Umura's name is an endowment for responsible AI. And I think this is where it starts. I think we start educating our future business leaders, our future technologists, on the ethical responsibility of a technology like artificial intelligence. This is way more bigger and way more significant than nuclear power was. And just like we put nuclear power to good work with energy, I think we need to put AI to work for good purposes, and if not, it's going to create a lot of chaos, and we're just seeing the beginning of it. We're seeing social media get weaponized by AI, and it's dividing us as a country rather than bringing us together. So this is just the beginning, unfortunately, of many other things to happen, and as leaders and as community members, my request and my hope is that the good people of this country and this state are going to start taking a proactive role, and on my side, I want to start setting in that direction. And I'll just say this, my mantra in life has been do good, have fun, make a lot of money, and then use the money to do good again. And I think one of the things that all of us owe to this great institution is to parlay our successes back into this institution. And I owe it to my girls that they know that most of my money I'm going to leave back to a foundation, and they are very supportive of it. And I hope that you all will join me as we start putting some of these great areas of technologies for the betterment of a society, because I do believe that this country, we always have been a pioneer for the world and a beacon for the world. And despite all the issues we're going through, there's no better place than Midwest and the heartland of America for us to start embracing this technology and putting it to good work through both our current leaders and our future leaders. So I look forward to working with you on that. And again, thank you again for the opportunity, and I hope to be working with some of you on this. Okay.
Thank you so much for your insightful comments. Let's congratulate all of our distinguished alumni right now who are in the room. And since I've already gone off script once, I'm going to just go off script again. I really would like all the faculty that are in the room right now to please stand. It was such an inspirational speech. I would like to have all of our faculty that are in the room tonight just stand and let us applaud you. Thank you so much. Now it is my pleasure to introduce to you the interim president of Michigan State University. John Engler was the 46th governor of our state, serving from 1991 to 2003. Before that, he was the youngest person ever elected to the Michigan House of Representatives and went on to serve as the Michigan legislator for 20 years, including 7 as Senate Majority Leader. Prior to his MSU appointment, he led the National Association of Manufacturers, the largest manufacturing association in the United States, and Business Roundtable, an association of CEOs in the largest U.S. companies. He has also served on the boards of several corporations and organizations and was the executive of the Electronic Data Systems Corporation, EDS. He's a graduate of MSU with a Bachelor of Science degree in Agricultural Economics. He also holds a law degree from Thomas M. Cooley Law School. He and his wife, Michelle, are the parents of 3 triplet daughters, and we'd really like to welcome him. He's done an outstanding job for us here at the university. Our interim president, John Engler. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. My goodness, thank you very much. Sherry is just a wonderful member of the media and somebody that we watch every night, and so we're delighted that you're taking a break and coming here. She asked all the faculty to stand up. Let me ask all the other members of the media to stand up. Well, that's our challenge. This is a distinguished group of recipients tonight. What an outstanding set of stories that have been presented, the works that have been done around the world, the impact that's been made on society, the impact in business, in law, in finance. It's just really remarkable, and it's a great tribute. This is the Michigan State story. This is what Michigan State's all about, and I think it was just wonderful to have the faculty stand up because this is what you've created. Graduates who can go out and make a difference. And what we have to do is tell our story because it's quite clear nobody's going to tell it for us. And so that's what we have to take on as our challenge, and that's something that Diane Byram and the Board of Trustees, and certainly me in my interim role, and hopefully the next president, I would like also all the members of the Presidential Search Committee to stand up. I know there's several that are here. Diane, Cookie's over there, Leah. Now these are the individuals, talk to them because they're going to be helping to define the next president. And of course, when that president is finally discovered and recruited, then I can go, but that begins the next chapter. And that's an important one for Michigan State because we're at such a wonderful period now, and there's so much that we can celebrate. And these awardees tonight really capture what it means to be a Spartan. This is what Michigan State is all about. Unbelievable research and teaching, and then graduates that go out and change the world. So I just am here tonight and very proud to offer congratulations on behalf of the university to everyone, to say to I'm glad that the Social Sciences College, Rachel, you're reaching out and adopting recipients here. Very good, counselor. That's very good. And I was thinking, all of the things that these, again, these awardees, what they represent, because we've got someone who's an expert in executive comp. We'll need that for the next president. We've got the investment expert here. Michigan State's return on our portfolio last year was just shy of 12%. Right at the top. I don't know if J.P. Morgan can top that, but we're doing well there. And then we've got from McDonald's the background in compliance, and that's a big deal here and very important to the university, getting all of those responsibilities exactly right. And so you've done that for a big company. We can use your insight, and so it goes all across here. The expertise in areas of technology and of science, and the leadership and the investment in science is something that Michigan State's passionate about, committed to. So this has been a great evening, and it's a great evening that just captures what this university means to this community, to our state, and to the world. And so Spartans will, and we will keep doing it. We're going to be better and stronger than ever. We've got new leadership on the way, but when that new leader arrives, they're going to take the helm of something that's very special, something that's very, very important. So it's important for the search committee to get it right, and it's important for all of us to tell our story because it's very clear there isn't much media left. We need that AI to figure out how to communicate that Spartan story. But it is a delight, though. These stories are worth telling and retelling and repeating, and so our communication strategy has to be worthy of the stories that are just waiting to be told, that will inspire people. They'll inspire people to come here. And by the way, I think we're looking for a new head of the admissions office, but I think from Caledonia, we may have the new head. Your family recruitment is really special. And I know you said epidemiology became your passion, but I'm thinking maybe student recruitment. That was really, really impressive. So again, thank you very much for making this a special evening for Spartan Nation and for the community. I'm so glad everyone could come out, and I just wish everyone could see and experience the success and the joy and the impact that Michigan State has had on these lives, and tell everyone we can do it over and over and over again. And I will tell you, the last statistic, I told some people at noon, largest ever freshman class, so think how many people are going to get that opportunity. And in that class, we're working with women leaders, the largest class of incoming freshman women in the history of the state, of Michigan State. So very, very good, and thank you. Have a great evening.
Interim President Engler is very persuasive, so we'll be looking for you down the road. What an evening we've had, ladies and gentlemen. Please join me again in giving one final round of applause to all of tonight's award recipients. Please stand and be recognized at this time. We appreciate you. I really want, everyone's words were so inspirational tonight, but I'm definitely going to coin David's that this is the Life Grant University. I've never heard that in all my years, and it's a beautiful phrase, and I think we can all leave here thinking about how this incredible institution has touched our lives changed our lives, made us better people. And the Spartan Will campaign is just outstanding. And we've heard the stories and then we've seen the captions, and they're all different and they're all unique, just like all of us are. But together we are one, and we are Spartans. And I'm so proud to be living and working in this community and being able to serve my university in any capacity that I can. Yeah, I bleed green, and I know all of you do too. So it's an honor for me to be asked back to be here again with you tonight. So at the close of our evening's program tonight, I ask that all Alumni Grand Award recipients, both past and present, to join us on the riser. We're going to take a group photo.
That's out the left back door.
Okay, so go out the left back door. And before we proceed with our dessert reception, which you don't want to miss, we have a special treat. I am pleased to welcome back to the stage one of tonight's young alumni adult winners, Miss Jennifer Heemstra, to lead us on the piano as we sing our alma mater, MSU Shadows. Please stand for this. Please stand for our alma mater. Have a wonderful evening, and if you can stay up till 11, I will see you then. All right? Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.